Welcome to the Holy Fool podcast. Holy Fool is a community of artists and patrons in Denver, Colorado, who hold all things in common. We especially want to support working musicians who are not yet financially independent and financially self-sufficient. So we're a community that tries to care for each other and prop up the emerging artists, songwriters, bands, etc. Today, on our very first episode of the Holy Fool podcast, we have Denver emo band Buddy Bench. What's up, Buddy Bench?
Hello. Hi, buddy boy.
Hi, Buddy
So
Ben.
we have Christian and Joey from Buddy Bench. Buddy Bench also includes Ryan Day on bass, and Nick is also a member of A Place for Owls, which is my band. So we started with some of our best friends in the scene, our homies. Welcome, Christian. Welcome, Joey. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. We love
Yeah.
you, buddies. So stoked to be part of this.
Love you too, buddy. All right. So we want to jump right in. How would you guys describe Buddy Bench and the music that Buddy Bench makes to someone who's never heard your band before?
Oh, man. I mean, according to Denver Westward, we are MySpace revival emo.
Yeah.
I can't say I was quite on the internet when that was happening, so I can't speak to the truth of that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like if Silver Sun pickups also listened to a lot of Mom Jeans when they were 12.
But also listened to a lot of Dream Theater when they were 6.
Oh yeah, even formative Dream Theater.
So I always say progressive emo,
Okay.
usually.
What is
proggy shit?
what does prog emo mean to you, Joey?
Funny time signatures, things that sound bad that we somehow make sound good. Just a lot of just the nerdier side of music, I guess. Right.
When Buddy Bench plays shows and you see audience videos, there's one or two dudes at the front doing they're so excited for the odd time signature, weird fills and air riffing certain riffs.
The little
stuff.
drum bit and a Marxicillin.
Yeah, for sure.
When I was in college, I saw a band called Anathalo who used a lot of weird type signatures. They were also total band geeks. There's horns and strange instruments. But
love it.
I felt so cool because they shifted into a 5/4 part, and I was in the front and I was clapping in 5. As a 20-year-old music fan nerd, I was I'm in on the joke. I get what's happening.
Yeah.
You didn't trip me up. You didn't get me.
Yeah. So why did you start a band? Why are you drawn to playing music, writing songs, doing the whole thing?
No, I've always been passively around music. My dad played guitar. A lot of my family was, played various instruments, and I've just kind of had a fascination for it. So it's just, I got to a certain point and then I was 10 years old. I'm like, okay, this is, I guess, just what I do now. And I haven't had a reason to stop. So
You haven't failed hard enough to just
right. No, I think it's I think there's something necessary to it. There's everyone has an outlet, but mine just happens to be playing around with a little thing of wood with strings on it, and then I can't really speak for Joey, but
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I'm playing music, I've played music with Joey since high school, and it's just he has a way of making whatever I do not sound like just messing around with a random tool, and he makes it sound musical, so it just works.
And in that
Definitely
end,
complimentary.
it's nice for me too, because anytime Christian writes a riff, it's something that I would not write on my own, so I have to adapt my own style of how I play the drums, how I approach these things, and sometimes he'll send me riffs in 11/8 and he'll just go figure it out. I don't know. And so I love that. I love the challenge of this band and how it's made me grown in my craft as far as actual performance. And I guess for me too, just the idea of why music. I just like to perform is the big thing. I'm a big, large dude who stands out in a crowd, and even stuff going to Tekken tournaments and stuff like that. I'm always in full cosplay and all this stuff because I kind of like being at the center of attention sometimes. And
Get a little as a treat.
It's more so just I just love the performance aspect of things more so than anything else. I like being on stage. I like doing something I'm good at and other people getting to see that.
I have to stress that you guys are very good at what you do.
Thank you, Nick.
Are you people? I get the sense that you are folks that just like sit around like playing your instruments a lot. Like, um,
Pretty much all I did today. I just stayed in bed and
yeah,
somewhere back there.
like y'all have the chops of like true musicians. I say that as like a, I don't know. I tend to think of myself as like a producer musician, where it's like I'm really interested in how sounds go together, but I have sort of a serial instrumentalist quality where it's like I've mastered nothing, you know? And so that is like one thing about Buddy Bench that I find striking.
Well, I mean, I love so far I've loved working with you in that capacity. I definitely picked up on that. Like you were so good at polishing up ideas and like you're just like a encouraging face to have when we're trying something and
I was
So
fishing
for
for
those,
compliments, thank you.
yeah, for we love each other is if that's not clear. So for the uninitiated, Nick Weber is also, in addition to being one of A Place for Owl's like main sort of like engineers and like mad geniuses. Nick Weber also records, produces, engineers at least the most recent Buddy Bench stuff.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
soon.
I'll be hearing it for the first time when the audience does.
So I want to ask, what's the most rewarding part about being in a band, writing songs, making music?
No, I mean, I guess just this is kind of emblematic of that. Like just I've always wanted to like ever since I've had the ability to be like, oh, there's local shows going on like somewhat near me and like there are people there and just like kind of just making my way into like a community of people who like care about the same like weird nerdy stuff that we do. I mean, you guys are a big example of that. We just like you tweeted something on Twitter like I mean, a couple years now ago at this point. And I'm like, oh, these guys seem like sweet based off like their social media presence. They seem uplifting and kind and the kind of people that like we would want to support.
Do you remember the Gateway tweet, the A Place for Alice tweet that hooked you, that got you?
It was just something about like, it was back when you work at a small print shop.
Yeah.
And it was just something miscellaneous about that. And I'm like, I think that's in Denver. Like, I've seen y'all on like the timeline, like here and there, and I knew you were somewhere, but I was like, oh, you're playing a show at like Moe's. I could just go down the street and like do that. And then
Yeah.
I guess the way it worked out, you just you're like, oh, I think I've seen you around the internet. You want to run merch for us? And things just kind of
right.
things just kind of
We knew
snowballed
Ben
from
for
there.
a total of 5 minutes before he asked us to run the merch stand.
Yeah. I do that so often I have no memory of this. I'm like,
I remember it. I remember it.
No, it was really charming though. It was just like this guy's he's just so like genuine and like outgoing and like he I don't know, he's not afraid to ask two random schmucks for, you know, a favor and we would love to reciprocate and that's kind of how it goes.
Joey, how about you? What's rewarding about being in a band making music?
A lot of what Christian said, like being able to meet so many cool people has been awesome. Like I've made a lot of cool friends, specifically you guys most of the time, but there's a lot of cool people I've met through the scene. Once again, like I said earlier, I love the aspect of performance. I like being on stage and doing what I do, and that's been really rewarding to like, you know, play a set and then be able to say, "Oh, that was really good." And genuinely like feel like it was really good.
Yeah.
So, a lot of that.
I mean, we've just been doing this for like so long. Like, I mean, both of us started pretty young. It's just like, I don't know. There's a certain part of us that's kind of always wanted to do this, or like, it's just cool to do it, even if it's like in a just like fun little like tight knit communal capacity, which is kind of better.
It's
Well,
wild for
I
me
think
to
about-
imagine that you guys had like not, I don't know, you had been playing music but in different bands, right? So it was like, but I don't know. It's wild to think that you had at some point were like, yeah, we'll play music but won't play out, or like probably won't put out records. I don't know. It's that would be such a big loss for Denver emo and satellite communities. I don't know, but I think there's a lot of folks like that out there who have a lot to offer and something really unique and cool, and are like, that's for somebody else, or I don't know.
Or just like
maybe
get
that ship has
frustrated
sailed or something.
and give up halfway through. I know
Yeah.
we had like pretty much a whole EP written in retrospect, like back in our high school band. And in retrospect, I'm kind of glad we never finished it because it's just amateurish,
We had-
just like kind of sloppy,
Yeah.
like mom jeans type emo. But like the only reason we didn't get it out is because we just kind of gave up and got frustrated halfway through because I was like 16 trying to record an entire EP with like
It
some
wasn't even an
$15.
EP. We had 12 songs.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah.
World's
And
longest
they
EP.
all are not great.
I've started teaching guitar lessons on the side through a local music school.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of my students are, between 8 and like 14. I've got a couple middle-aged guys that just want to play like Bob Dylan and the band and stuff, and that's a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
It's been making me flashback to my own guitar lessons at 15, 14 years old. Literally, I started writing songs almost immediately, and I played 3 songs that I'd written for my guitar teacher. And he goes, Ben, I think everybody's got 100 bad songs in them, and it sounds like you're getting them all out of the way at once.
My gosh.
Bummer.
Wow.
But it was, you're like, well, fuck, F you, dude. But also there was something in me that was like, oh, actually, if that's true, then I just need to turn it into a factory. And once I get through those 100 songs that are like bad, maybe I'll like write some ones that are good.
It's just nothing but gold after that. You can't write a
exactly.
bad song after that. It's
And
impossible.
that's been broadly my experience.
Hey, we've all written some stinkers for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's good to get stuff out of your system, and just learn. I think that's something that I don't know, the age we live in or whatever. Like everyone's like a professional immediately, and it's like everyone like all the tools are so accessible, right? And it's like, and everyone's just gorged on perfect content, basically. And it's like I think people can get really talented and insightful people can get discouraged when like they're not like instantly able to like make something that feels as good as they want it to be or they feel like
Totally.
it should be. But yeah, I think it's good to like, and that's, I don't know, to like be in a community that allows you to like kind of make some stinkers and try some things, but like just there's like some level of unconditional acceptance
Absolutely.
and genuine feedback, but yeah, it's so important to like, I think, try something, dump it, start over. Yeah, that's all beautiful part of the process, I think.
I think a lot of people that try to make music because we live online and because we can see our Spotify monthlies and because we feel like because it's so democratized now of like, oh, we
Mhm.
can just send emails to like 10 cool music blogs and try to get a write up. Or, it's like you feel like the music world, at least in DIY stuff, is like so accessible now that we get so obsessed with how we're being perceived or celebrated or not celebrated.
Yeah.
And I think about this is an imperfect example, but maybe it's a good example. I think about that first American football record
Right.
where it was just online didn't exist. It just was it existed in maybe like early message board form or whatever.
Right.
What year was that? 94?
It was 99 when it actually came out. They
Okay.
recorded it primarily in like 98, 99. They were a local band, college band. They were in other projects. They had a relationship with Polyvinyl, which Polyvinyl at that point wasn't Polyvinyl. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And they just recorded it because they liked it and they thought it was worthwhile. And then they literally broke up because they all went their separate ways. They graduated college and it was their college band, right? Then, Mike Kinsella had experience of putting out some records as Owen. And then it became like it wasn't a thing until it was a thing. Like it became sort of like a sleeper hit. Now we think about American Football, the band, and American Football LP1 as this iconic Midwest emo genre defying sort of thing. But when they made those songs and recorded that record, they had such humble expectations. They were a local band that knew that they were breaking up after the record got produced and put out. And I just think about how many artists, kind of like how Nick and we're all talking about, like how many artists get flapped and get discouraged because they're like, I can see my Spotify monthlies and there's 12 of them or there's 60 of them. And I've had 3 singles out already. I should have more, I feel like. Or like I keep emailing these like music websites and publications, but like nobody gives me the time of day. And I think that there's something poison that happens when we think that a music scene primarily exists online versus music scenes that are just manifestations of real embodied in-person real life communities across the country, right? And so the fact that we can live in the same city, we did meet from online originally, but like we can live in the same city and write and record, play shows together, have that freedom of we can have some stinkers that we either never publish or we put out. Like I think about some Place for Our songs on that first EP, the acoustic one that we did. I'm like, I think I would have right now, I would have done it different, right? But like it's what we made and it's what we did. And because we have actual friends that are stoked about us as people and stoked about the work that we're doing, there's more of a safety net of experimentation and failure that like you could have a single that doesn't particularly perform well or an album or an EP that just, it feels like for online, it's a stinker, but like you're still playing those shows with your buddy bands year round. And it's almost like you become bulletproof to that sort of like ups and downs because it's a real embodied community. I don't know if you guys have more thoughts on that.
Yeah,
I had a.
You go ahead, Joey.
No, because mine's gonna derail us a little bit.
Okay.
But
it's on topic. It's just not. I want to hear Christian's response for
get it together. I mean, exactly what you said. It's like, I would be lying if I said it wasn't like a little discouraging. Like after that first EP we put out, like the monthlies go from like 3,000 to like 1,200, and then it's like just kind of cooling at like a cool like 80, 90 for the last like year. Or like 6 months. But like at the same time, it's like nothing really changed. It doesn't really matter. Like we still hang out with our buddy bands. There's still like the same cool like 6 people that we see at like every buddy band show, and like that's the only thing that's like actually like anchored in like reality and not just like projected at me at a screen. So it's a little more important.
Totally.
And my thing was just gonna be, for the sake of the thought experiment, because we were talking about it, what do you think your what is the stinkiest APFO song, in your opinion? The only reason because I think it's interesting to like consider what you make now versus like, because you mentioned that first EP, there's some stuff on there that you weren't really a huge fan of, or you would do things differently, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I would actually be harsh, as harsh to like call it a stinker, but there's We Moved in the Dark, which is a fine song, and I like that a lot. But I think I would deconstruct it and reconstruct it a little bit. We even there's a new song that's gonna hopefully be on the next record that we actually like the bass line from We Moved in the Dark.
Cool.
Nice.
In the last little bit. So it's still a part of the process. But then also we've stopped playing Fear and Trembling live primarily because we had enough people be like, what the hell is that song about? Like because it's based upon the Abraham and Isaac story from the Old Testament. And it's just like it's inside baseball. If you didn't grow up in church, like
you're not getting it. Yeah.
It's like, and so it's just like, I don't know if I would necessarily throw that one on a record right now, but I know, Joey, the first or second time I met you, you were like, the song.
I love that song.
Yeah, the song I really like for you guys is Fear and Trembling. And so who's to say if I'm a reliable narrator about what even is good in my own, discography or whatever?
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, probably the least.
Yeah,
honestly.
That's how I feel.
That's a good word.
I'm the least reliable judge about what I make, the quality of what I make, and which are the hits. And
I don't know. I think
sleepers.
there's something kind of fun to think about it like that, though, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't be
Even
too
if you're, like, the
self-conscious
least
about it, or
reliable.
you'll never
Yeah.
put out anything.
Yeah, that's right. But I think it's to our point, it's like I think that's why you need buddies, and especially trusted long-term buddies that like um
TM, buddies
actually
TM.
know who you are and what is beautiful and good about you. Now, you can't internalize everybody else's advice. And so there's like three people in the world. Like if Daniel says a song sucks, I'm gonna be like, I'm never playing that song again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, right.
And he has.
He has many times. Daniel is the resident hook police in our band. He's like, where's the catchy part, man? What's going on? So we've talked a little bit about this of the disappointment of we put out in that first EP, we got up to like 3,000 monthly listeners. It felt like we got wrote up in the alternative and a couple, music websites. There were some people online, and then it's just like since then it's sort of trickled down, stabilized at like 60, 80 monthlies. So that's one discouragement that you've already talked about. You can talk more about that. But I'm really curious about what struggles as a band are you guys facing currently or have faced recently?
Well, I mean, frankly, I don't think we have reached a critical point where an issue has had the opportunity to kind of bubble up. That's also just because like there's almost like a complacency that we have where it's like, oh, like, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll not. Just it's not really in the cards right now. And we don't really like let ourselves even get like disappointed by certain things. But with this next EP, who knows? Maybe we will want to like branch out and get a little more ambitious with it. And if we set our expectations just like, we made a cool thing and we got to do it and it was fun and cool, then it wards off a lot of that negativity, like self-directed negativity. What happens if we do want to like do like a vinyl run or like some CD runs, and then we come into that crossroad and it's just kind of not really in the cards, or like, I'm going to say the P word, not profitable. Which it's a very different thing when it's like some bunch of vampires in a boardroom versus like my Christian Como's bank account that I'm spending like $800 to front money for something. But yeah, short answer is fortunately we haven't run into any issues yet. Although I can absolutely foresee some certain ones. Honestly, it's just money. It's just everything.
Yeah.
Everything is money. All the issues in the world are money.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't know. We've just been kind of really blessed in this project so far to not have something big be like a big problem for both of us outside of, like Christian said, money. Like, I'm usually the guy that has to be like, hey, Christian, this is a cool idea. We can't afford this. But yeah, I don't know. I would say a lot more of the struggles for me are more personal in the sense of like feeling like underperforming on certain things, I guess, because I hold Christian in such a high regard as like a songwriter in what he does for this band. And I feel like sometimes I'm not doing enough, I guess, or I'm like not happy with how I perform this thing on like maybe a recording or something like that, but it's too late.
Because you have one drum day.
Yeah.
You're paying Nick for one day.
Yeah.
And you fucking killed it.
Okay,
Pardon
thank
my
you.
French. Pardon my French.
Yeah, that's like I said, we've been really blessed that nothing's been like really bad for us. And hopefully it stays that way. And if something comes up, we'll handle it. That's kind of how I've always felt about it.
I feel like you guys are it's like an exciting time to be Buddy Bench, kind of. Like, I don't know, I kind of romanticize the like, because like the first thing I feel like you put out and you're just like, it's just like a miracle that you did. It's like we made a record and it's like we're putting it out. It's like expectations already exceeded, and then like everything else is kind of gravy,
right,
to make something that you're like proud of. And then to have like just like this, like the kind of a little bit higher personal stakes and like external stakes with like a second project and like a fan base of some kind that's like some kind of like external expectation, and then like a bar for yourself to clear creatively.
We haven't come really across that first bar like after the first release. Like we put it on ourselves, and like I know I personally was like putting myself under a lot of pressure. It's like, hey, this just got to clear the first EP in every regard. I have to be just infinitely happy with it and proud of it. Whereas the first one was like a little more fast and loose. You're just kind of like, I wrote a song. It's good enough. Let's throw it on the record. And now we're in that little moment where it's like, I feel personally fulfilled, and I am absolutely so stoked with this new stuff that's going to be coming out. But who knows how it's going to, like, how, if people are just going to, resonate with it. It's I guess separate from like success or like any sort of, what some people think is the gratification of like being in a band. Aside from that, I think the ultimate goal, at least for myself, is to have like people resonate with it.
Mhm.
And I think that'll almost be worse if people are like, oh, I mean, like, it's good. Eh.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, did I make something? Did I make art? Did I make something that people are going to resonate with? Or
Yeah.
is this just like, we made a record to make a record?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like a much deeper kind of value metric than like, yeah, a lot of the more superficial things that we've been talking about, obviously just like numbers and charting and whatnot. But yeah, the resonance, that's big for me too.
So how do you know, like you've touched on a little bit, but like how do you get that feedback loop of if it's resonating with someone? Is that playing live? Is that messages that you get online? Like how do you check whether if that's a definition of success for you, how do you check that you're being successful?
Yeah, I mean, at least just based off the first EP, like people will just outright tell us, be it like at local shows, like people like, just having anyone like approach us, me like, oh, like I love this song. It's like, whoa, why? But
I was
awesome,
gonna say,
cool.
like,
I guess that was the point. So I'm appreciative.
in a similar vein, the fact that people come back to multiple shows, I think,
Right.
is a big part of that.
Totally.
What do you think? So I think a lot about a healthy definition of success, and I think a lot about ambition and what is a healthy ambition for me, and then what is like an absolute like dummy. That's it's foolish, but not in the holy fool, like the good fool sort of way. It's like
Right.
it's dumb of you to be ambitious towards, for example, I think Spotify monthlies
Right. Exactly.
is for me, it's like I can't necessarily become captivated by, I feel like my project in my band is a success or a failure based upon that, or like playlist placing, or did we make end of year lists, or like that sort of stuff, right? But like, what do you feel like is a healthy ambition? What is healthy to be ambitious about? And what would you say is like, that's an unhealthy ambition for me to hold on to?
I mean, you pretty much summed it up. I think the healthy bits, in my mind at least, are the ones that spark conversation, are driven by like interpersonal like relations that you have with people. Like someone, like, even if it's just like an internet comment of just like, yeah, I thought this was cool. And like not necessarily even directed at us. Like sometimes they'll just like show up on my feed. Just someone like taking the time to champion something that resonated with them, I think is like, that's a very cool feeling. And I think it's something that I'm gonna, appreciate, I guess, if not like, hound myself about like chasing that and like making something worthy of that. But I'd say anything that's like an unhealthy drive are the ones that are, I guess, imposed onto us. Anything that is after the initial drive to create. Like as you're saying, like Spotify monthlies and like to a certain extent, like playlist placements and stuff is, although I do just think that like at the end of the day, that's just people, it's like saying they resonated with your art and like championing it and like trying to like do what is in their power to like, pass on what they think is cool. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to chase, but like all the number stuff and like the weird like mind tricks that are imposed onto us by like these like streaming services and I don't know, even like some people who just have a certain way of speaking about local bands. Any of the stuff it's distracting from the initial goal, I think is like, I'm not going to chase that. I don't care. I'm not going to drive myself nuts about it.
Wise.
I've got nothing to add.
Great. What's an example of somebody who's like, when you said people that you meet that have like weird expectations or talk about local bands weirdly, I flashed back to like literally the most insufferable person I've ever met.
Oh no.
At a local show, we played with a band. I'm not going to mention them. I try not to speak ill of the dead,
Right.
it's just like, but there was a band that we played a show with early in our time where at that point, we were just desperate to get small little club shows. We wanted to play Moe's, we wanted to play Lost Lake, we wanted to play Globe Hall. So we just kind of said yes to shows, even if we didn't know the bands or like we weren't stoked on them. So we end up on some of these, sometimes that's a really pleasant surprise where like,
Mm-hmm.
didn't know any of the bands before you said yes to the show, and it's actually a banger, and everybody has such a kind and community spirit, and it's like this is absolutely great. But then many times you'll have either the opener that absolutely just the acoustic opener just bails and like walks out, the Irish goodbyes, and just walks out
Right.
without acknowledging anything, and just leaves, right? That's happened to us a couple times. And then there was a very broy dude that was a part of the entourage of one of the bands that we played with.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, what's your band?" And I was like, "A Police for Allison." And they're like, "Oh yeah, stick with us. We'll get you where you need to go."
What
Okay,
a
dude.
dork.
Yeah, yeah. At first I was like, "Will he?" Dude,
Right.
'cause you're like green enough. It's your second show with your band or whatever, and you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, Mister, yeah, tell me what I should do." But it's like kind of insufferable behavior. Do you guys have any negative, without naming names or like shit talking really, but
Right.
like do you have any examples of what not to do in a local scene, how not to act?
Oh, man, I mean, you pretty much hit a couple of the nails right on the head. Just like the not being there for anything but like your call time, and then just like it says I do not care about anything that else tonight. Like I've done my thing. I get to leave now. I get to get far away from these people, and that's like the least conducive thing you could do when you're trying to like not be the worst. Yeah, we've had some bad experiences, not necessarily too much with other acts, fortunately. Um, I've had a couple maybe that like, or maybe they rubbed us the wrong way, but like, man, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But with like, some promoters, that's definitely something that we've had some
Boy.
pretty awful experiences with, and just
Yeah, talk about, tell without naming names, tell a little bit of stories so we know what we're talking about.
so we got asked to hop on. We did a couple shows with this promoter putting on the show, and they're just like the kind of shows that you say yes to, and then there's like 11 bands on a bill, and like everyone's playing
And they
like
forgot to mention that part.
right, yeah, like 15-20 minute sets, and you could tell that like these are set up to just like squeeze as much money from like people's parents as possible,
Yeah.
and like they do nothing to like actually like get to know like who's on the bill, or like just do anything that feels conducive to like this is a healthy, sustainable thing that would be good for everyone involved and fulfilling for everyone involved. Just it was just a very money forward endeavor. Just strange vibes.
You only get paid if you sell X amount of tickets.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, stuff like that.
like borderline pay to play shows.
Yeah.
It's pay to
That's
play
where they
with
were like
extra steps.
checking it's like, who did you come for at the door? Because I came to this
Right.
show.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do think we, unfortunately, I haven't run into that too much in the last like year or so, but especially as we were like getting into it and just kind of like not really knowing what we're doing. It's something we ran into a lot. And I think in Denver, because there's not like a huge like house show culture either, like it really is like we play by the venue's rules. We do whatever they ask, and like what's the
Yeah.
other alternative? And that's why that's how you get a lot of like kind of scummy or like borderline like pay to play stuff going on in Denver, and it's really discouraging. If we played like a couple more shows like that before like seeing how good things could be and how fun things could be, and like actually meeting people at these shows who are like genuine and like just there to have a good time, I don't think we would keep doing this. I think we could have called it quits.
That's a big credit to you guys specifically too, because the next like 3 shows we played after that show was always with APFO asking us to play a show with them.
Right.
Nice.
And that it was really encouraging to actually play stuff that was fun, and I wanted to be there, and everyone there was cool, and unlike those first two shows where it just kind of left a bad taste in our mouths a little bit.
Like no one
I think
was there to meet a single person. It was just there because
yeah.
for the sake of it.
I think those first like couple, especially the first like taking your band to the venue show, like that can be it just feels so impossible for a lot of bands, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you do know people, it's like just getting on a bill that, because like you are kind of just desperate at first, just like please anyone let us play, and like I don't know, I feel like so frequently that first show just makes no sense at all, just like lineup wise, like not in a
Right.
cool way, just like whoa, this is wild. But
not like a fun mixed bill band way. It's just mixed band bill way.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. Whoever was like innocent enough to say yes and
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I think that is really tough for a lot of bands, and like it feels like such a high barrier of entry that a lot of bands don't even like break that threshold. Almost, it's just like I'm just not gonna play live.
right. It's like I've not had fun once. I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think this is a human thing that happens, but it has a manifestation in a local scene. Everybody is so desperate to be noticed and so desperate to be seen that no one is noticing and seeing the people that are around them. And it's a little bit of a paradox where if you just become the sort of person that goes to a show in order to notice and celebrate other bands that are playing besides your own, you actually like that will eventually return to you, that
Totally.
you like people will notice and like your band too.
Right.
But it's such a subtle thing that I find that I can't do it just from a pure marketing perspective of like,
Right.
if I'm nice and celebrate other bands, then my band will be more successful. That's kind of a weird, and it's unrealistic too.
Right.
But it is a truth that if you just kind of give your attention and your kindness away, that you will eventually find a scene and a community around you that is kind and attentive and mutually encouraging, right?
Totally.
But most bands that don't have that mindset, maybe they didn't have a positive model of DIY shows where this was just a normal thing, and they started a band and they're just so anxious to be noticed that it just kind of makes you selfish and self-absorbed. And in general, us as a culture, we're getting way more into, we're all the main characters of our own video games, and
Yeah.
everybody else is like an NPC, and we don't give a crap about like the rich internal lives of everybody else around us, right? So
Totally.
it's true human, but then it has a manifestation in the music scene of just like, if you weirdly just show up to make sure other people are having a good time, not only are everybody else going to have a good time, but you yourself are going to have a pretty dang good time too.
Right. Yeah. And it's amazing to see that actually like play out, like it just in practice. There's just so many times the last like year and a half where I've just like gone to a show and I'm like, oh, I know like 4 people here. Like I have met these people before and I've engaged with them and they're, sweet and cool, and they did the same to me, and there's a mutual knowing.
Yeah.
I know
The
like
dream of live music is still kicking.
right.
Dream of the 90s is alive in Denver, Colorado.
Absolutely.
Well, we've talked about a few of these, we've talked about some negative examples of what don't act like this in a music scene. And we talked about a few examples of what is helpful when somebody shows up. The question I want to ask is, what could a community of fans and other bands and songwriters, what could a community around you do to make sure that you're struggling less and you're more encouraged and you're having a better time as a music maker?
I think just like a general sense of like, solidarity and like understanding. The wider your kind of net is of people who are like either possibly in the same situations like as like a band member or artist, or in the same sort of mindset as like an enjoyer of these sorts of spaces and wants to see them like thrive to the best of their ability. It's just like it's good to see that like you're not just like the only one who thinks or acts a certain way or like believes certain things. Just like it's good to be surrounded by people who are kind of there for just the same reasons you are, if nothing else. Like everything else kind of comes after, like the knowing and the engagement and the friendship and like really letting those like relations blossom. But at the end of the day, just having people who are like to you near you, just it kind of definitely helps string things along, helps things come together.
I love the fact that a lot of people are just willing to come talk to you at shows and things like that, just
Yeah.
about whatever. A lot of people feel like they actually really care about being a part of community, and like, I don't know, it's encouraging in these types of environments. Like something as simple as just walking up and having a conversation with someone.
Yeah, I often think like well, maybe this is just a way to, when I get a big head, I try to think about this, but like
Wait, when do you get a big head? What are you talking about?
I'm mortal, Benjamin. But like, or if I get in my head about, it's like, I played a crappy show or whatever. Like the most interesting and vital thing happening at shows, I think, is like it's like the two people show up and it's like, oh, I haven't seen you in 3 years or whatever. Like, and then they catch up. Like that's like, to be able to facilitate that like through music is really cool. And it like, in some ways, sometimes does not have all that much to do with you or your band, besides being like a connecting, I don't know what the word is.
Catalyst.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, what you were talking about, kind of, Joey, kind of reminded me of.
It's nice to be a reason for people to communicate in a time where like there isn't always a lot of that going on.
Totally.
Just being like, not necessarily like you said, the reason for this congregation of people, but just like aiding in like curating an atmosphere just for people to like come and hang out and meet, which people need these days.
As we say, talking on through the computer screen.
Right.
We've hung out in person with the last like 2-3 weeks. We're good. We checked that box. We saw it. We shook hands, gave each other a hearty handshake. We kissed each other on the cheek and on the forehead. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
True, we did do all
Yeah.
those things.
And on the
Yeah.
hands. And on the hands.
Yeah. Milady. I think, one of the things that I think about is that there's primarily, I think, two misunderstandings of the role of the band or the songwriter or the artist. One is that they're sort of on a pedestal. They're sort of like, they're this hyper elevated, almost like saintly, sacred person who just like is special and different than us and is there. And we're sort of like worshiping at the feet. So you get a little bit of like stan culture in some of this sort of mindset that like the songwriter, the band, the solo artist or whatever is someone that needs to be like propped up and they're like special and anointed, right? Then there's also, and so what manifestation does that have in live music? Well, you show up and you're essentially worshiping at the altar of this person. And you're essentially kind of like sacrificing yourself and your own identity for that artist in like a weird, very strange, very weird way.
Right.
There's another one that's like kind of on the other side of the pendulum, which is that artists are there. The main character is not the artist. The main character is the person going to the show.
Mm.
And the artist is there to provide a soundtrack for that main character's night out.
Right.
Yeah.
Their background music, they're meant to be talked over. They're meant to be taken like selfies over. It's all about like me and sort of my experience. And this is where you get in some show cultures, like especially post-COVID, none of us know how to go to live shows anymore. And
Totally.
so it's like we're sort of all sort of trying to make, as the concert goer, we're trying to make ourselves the main character. We're constantly videoing ourselves or having our other friends video us. But like the truth is that the community of people that are coming to the show and the artists and the bands that are playing that show are close. It's more close to egalitarian, sort of like everybody's on the same level. Like the band are normal people. The people coming are normal people. There should be people in the audience that are also songwriters and musicians, and like they're in other bands or they're just dicking around at home and having fun with it. But it's a little bit like closer. But also music is happening and it's not just purely like background music there. So it's like the health for me seems to be like this middle way of like
Right.
the artist is humble, and we're not like put on a pedestal. It's something that anybody can do, and everybody can play guitar, and everybody can write songs, and everybody can start a DIY band. Who cares? But then also, like, the music is kind of centered, and the community around the music is not just like the music is just background for my selfish sort of experience.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have more thoughts on that sort of stuff that I'm riffing on.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, you go, Joey.
I was just gonna keep it succinct, like you were saying about like putting these people on a pedestal, or I'm the main character. I just think it would be nice, like I said earlier, come talk to us at shows. We're all human. Let's talk. Let's like, I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. Hopefully, we can find a common ground in that and just be people together. But yeah, just come talk to us. Stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I kind of liked what Ben said, where it's like the music is the center, but not necessarily the musician, which I really like. It's the audience and the musician are kind of both meeting each other in the middle and doing everything in their power to make the music the focal point. That seems to be kind of the healthiest way. But granted, sometimes the vibe does call for it. I mean, when we played that show at Skylark a couple months ago, it was just kind of like you were playing very first. It was just kind of an acoustic set, and you're like, "Hey, I'm just kind of here to play some music, but like enjoy yourself, have a good time, tip your bartender."
Yeah. I think I literally said, I was like, if you talk over top of it, my feelings will not be hurt. That's
Right.
like
You did say that.
That's totally fine. And I think that's especially a defense mechanism that I do, where I'm used to playing with like a loud rock band that, like, even if people are talking, the music is still louder than them.
Yeah, you
Right.
can't
But
tell.
like when you're playing a solo set, you can hear that person's conversation very, very clearly or whatever. So I just want to kind of normalize of like, hey, we're all having a great time here. I'm playing music, but like, please have a wonderful night. And if that means talking at a reasonable volume with your buddy while my music is going on, I
Right.
want you to feel like that's okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I feel this is a great first step. Look at us. We're going.
Look at us.
All right, now cut out every part where I talked.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The drummer in both your band and my band are like, I'm the worst. I should never talk and have fun.
Sam, the worst.
I'm back at house, bro. You don't need to hear from me.
Yeah, that's right. And there's something about the front man that's like, I'm gonna talk for a while. Everyone shut up and listen to me. I'm gonna talk. Yeah. That's normal for everyone to pay attention to me. I do want to ask, I know that you guys are recording your next EP and you're continuing to book shows and play shows in Denver. You're playing with Schemo in January.
Sure am.
Yes,
Have a
yeah.
circle.
So, but I wanted to just kind of open up. What's the Hot Wings show where they
Hot Ones.
Hot ones.
And Hot Ones? Yeah, I want to open it up to that camera, this camera.
You're rolling out the red carpet.
Yeah, roll it out the red carpet. What do you want to promote? What indeed do you want to talk about that you think is something that you're doing, or something that you would just like to shine a little bit of attention on?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have anything in the works necessarily to promote besides, we have a fun show in January coming up with Schemo, Seventh Circle. But yeah, the new EP I'm super excited about. It's just been fun to work with one Ryan Day and one Nick Weber. And just, I don't know. I'm really proud of how this thing is shaping up, and I'm excited for it.
And
to
I
be,
wish I could hear it.
Right.
Do you want to talk?
I've listened to it a lot.
I believe it. I believe
Nick's
it.
recording it. Yeah.
I haven't.
Do you want to talk about, Chrissy, some of the themes on the record, or do you want to? You can keep it tight to the chest too if you want. But like, do you want to talk a little bit about how the EP's shaping up?
I've just been feeling this degradation of the way that people have communicated with one another, and many things that were once like forever just familiar now feel so foreign. It's just like a weird juxtaposition of like seeing like a kid you grew up playing like Halo in their basement grow up to be like some awful person, or like it's strange. I think everything has gotten a little bit more dour and a little shittier. And I think we have a lot of work to do to like try to rebuild a lot of what we've lost as far as like how we communicate with one another just in general. That's really all I have to say about that.
So nice and light,
Right.
I don't do a whole lot of the compositions side of things for Buddy Bench other than, drum parts, but it's been a lot of fun to actually get to do this in this like type of environment. I've never recorded live drums on anything before, so that was a lot of fun. That's really exciting. I've learned a lot of cool stuff about, you know, how these things kind of get done, and that's been really fun. That's been really interesting, and I'm excited for everyone to hear it, including me, because I haven't yet.
You kind of hit something fun there, Joey. Like, so far, everything on this EP has been like a real instrument played through like a real amp, or like synth sounds, or like a physical synth. I'm like sitting on the floor playing. It's a lot less like in the box. It's a little more tactile. It's a little more fast and loose. And I've just had a blast like actually making it. It is a process that is unlike my usual process, where I get to like hide in my little cave and like beat up myself and like have things like be perfect and tweak to the point where I'm over tweaking and ruining it. It's just a little more fast and loose, a little more we're discovering the EP and the recording process a little more than we did with the first EP, which is fun.
One of the songs I didn't even hear until a week before we recorded it.
That's right.
We did not play that song as a band until we recorded our parts separately.
You know, it's fun challenges like that keep you growing and, you know, keep you learning more about yourself and like what you're capable of. And that's really cool. And this EP has done a lot to give us opportunities to figure out what we're capable of, you know? It's been a lot of fun.
Nick, do you want to add something as the producer and also guitar player for this record?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really am excited about how quickly it's coming together. I like to work pretty fast. This is my first time like tracking a rock band with all my own gear, and since like I haven't really done that sort of thing like by myself. I did it with A Place for Owls. Jesse, drummer, and I did like kind of tag teamed the first couple projects, but yeah, like I got an interface big enough, like with enough pre's specifically to do drums on. Well, it was a good excuse to upgrade, and like, but I don't know, like it's basically been like a day per thing. It was like a day for drums and bass together, playing together live. Day for Christian guitar with a real amp mic'd up. Day for me guitar. I probably could have used another. But I love going fast, and I love not. Like and like everyone came in just so prepared, just ready to rip, and that's just like my favorite kind of thing. Like prepared enough that we can have fun and loosen up a little bit. But I really like that role as producer, like stepping into that. It's like it's like a big part of why I'm here is going to be not allowing you to overthink things, and like giving it to you straight when I think we've got it, and when I think we need another. Yeah, just been a pleasure.
We keep
these kids rep.
Tossing around fast and loose a lot, and you know that sounds bad, I think, if you don't have the context, but I think it's very fitting for this EP, and I think it's gonna sound really good.
Yeah, it sounds like a real rock and roll band. Yeah, none of the drums are gridded. I didn't quantize like anything.
Love it.
Let's go.
I don't think anything. Yeah, nothing on the record is quantized. Just all real sounds. Yeah, it's fun. It feels like kind of doubling down on doing a very human expression of like what Buddy Bench does. I think is super fun.
I mean, I think the genre that we do is sometimes at its best when it's like cap and jazz messy. Like if it was too clean and too polished, we would be like a prog rock band, but like a really not great one.
Like
right.
You better be a good shitty emo band rather than mediocre.
Yeah, we're shooting for math rock tight, you know.
Math rock tight.
Like 90% there.
Y'all need to do stickers that say math rock tight.
Yeah. We played Seven Circle a couple of years ago. I think this was the Ben Quad show where we opened for Ben Quad. And dude literally came up to me at the merch table and was like, "Hey, I really like your band. You sing too pretty, I think, for me to ever really actually be into your band. But I just, that was a great set." And I was like, "That's a hell of a thing."
Right. Not quite sure if it's a compliment, but it's hell of a thing. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a hell of a thing to say to someone in person at a merch table. All right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being the first guest on the Holy Fool podcast. We are so excited for all the work that you're doing as a live band, as a recording project, as people that are just kind and generous presence in our scene, showing up to shows, just being two folks that just like love music, love each other, love the music that you're making, love the music that other people are creating. It's just such a joy to know you and just such a joy to like be in friendship with you that I just want to really just say thanks for doing it. And thanks for embodying a lot of the philosophies and principles of the stuff that we're talking about. I know that every time you like show up and I see you buying merch from another band, or like I see you, saying like an encouraging word to somebody else. It's just absolutely the sort of thing that like needs to exist in order to make music feel like it's just fun and doable, and it's not just a grind that you do until you want to quit, and then you eventually quit, and then you die inside your soul. And so I just appreciate you both. Thank you so much for being on our episode. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Final thoughts, not necessarily, just that we're honored. Thank you for inviting us to be on the first episode. We adore you two and the rest of the Apfo boys. We're so incredibly proud and stoked for Holy Fool.
Yeah.
I don't know. As we always say, morally praiseworthy behavior.
I heard you on mic say that buying a t-shirt is morally praiseworthy behavior, and I was like,
It is. It is.
So true.
A little Ben Soyism.
Yeah. Well, thank you. What? No, Nikki, what do you guys
no.
Joey?
Well, I was just gonna say the same thing. Thanks for having us. I'm glad I get to be here and talk to you guys. And it's always fun. And here's some more shows and all that.
Yeah, totally. Nick, any final thoughts?
Nope. Love y'all.
Great. Okay. Well, you have been listening to the Holy Fool podcast. Holy Fool is a community of musicians and patrons in Denver, Colorado, who strive to hold all things in common. We especially want to support emerging working musicians who are not yet financially self-sufficient. We do that through mutual encouragement, sharing best practices and best ideas. We have a gear share program. If you are interested in the work that we do at Holy Fool, you can find us at holyfoolco.com. You can find out how to, if you're a musician in the Front Range of Colorado, especially, we want to know you, we want to be your friend and celebrate and encourage you. Unless your music sucks, we don't want to do that. But no,
Your music can suck, but you can't.
Your music can suck. You can't suck as a person. That's actually the thing. If you suck, no matter how good your music is, Holy Fool wants to support you if you are an emerging musician, band, singer, songwriter on the Front Range of Colorado, especially. If you are someone who loves music and you want to support working musicians, especially those that are not yet financially self-sufficient, you can give a monthly gift online at holyfoolco.com. Most folks give between $25 and $100 a month. It helps so much. Use that. We use those funds to bless artists with hospitality, and also we give out micro grants to artists who are in need. So check out more at holyfoolco.com. Thanks so much for listening.